Hey guys, welcome back to tutorial number 23, and in this tutorial we are going to create Kivy MD Data Table, and we are going to take the information of all the roadworks that are currently being carried out in Singapore, and we will display the start date and the end date of the roadwork, and which road is actually affected in the data table. So so in this data table, is actually a score list. You have 10 rows in one page, and then you can have multiple pages. In my case, I have 47,000 over pages. Sorry, not 47, 4,700 over pages, in which I can change from one page to the other. So this data table also allows you to sort. Depends on how you want to sort the rows. You can sort it by name, starting with A, B, C, D, alphabet order in ascending and descending order. So I think this is pretty cool widget that is offered by Kivy, and in this video I'm going to show you how to build this. So the information that we will be using is the LTA Datamall section 2.17 roadworks, and here this is the URL of the API, and it will return all the roadworks that are being or to be carried out. So because of big amount of data that we'll be receiving, we do want to display all the information in the data table. So most likely we are going to display to the user of the roadworks that is going to happen tomorrow, and also all the roadworks that are being carried out today. So if you're a user to the app, maybe you don't want to see so much information into the future. You just want to understand whether there is any roadworks that is currently being carried out on the road that might affect you, or maybe tomorrow if there is anything that will affect your trip. Okay, so you can go to Postman and then put in this URL, and if you skip all the way to 6,500, which is the last page of the information, or last skip, so you will get the last page with all the information. So for one URL query, you are only able to get 500 pieces of data, so we need to skip like 6,500 in order to get all the data. Okay, so later I will show you how you can get all of them with for loop or while loop, and then with the total amount of data we are going to do some filtering. Okay, cool. Before we start, please remember to download the app from Google Play Store, and this will be the baseline of the full app that we will be create and deploy the APK to your phone, and also upload to the Google Play Store in the last video of this series. And if you'd like to contribute to my channel on buymeacoffee.com, feel free to do so. My page will be MarcusJohn123. And let's go back to where we were in the last tutorial. Okay, so in the last tutorial we created a traffic incident screen which shows all the traffic incidents on the road right now. So in the last tutorial I created a video at night, and therefore there were not actually a lot of incidents on the road which you can see. But now I'm recording it at evening time, and therefore you can see there are a lot of heavy traffics on the road, and then there are a lot of roadwork that are being carried out on the road. So the next thing that we want to do is this tab, this roadwork screen. If you click on it, nothing is going to happen. It will just crash the app because we haven't created a roadwork screen, which is what we are going to do now. Okay, so let's close this and then go to our tutorial number 23, and then the step 1 is the first 4 steps. I guess you are quite familiar already, which is to create a screen. So we are going to create a new class under the incident screen, and then main.kivy. Roadwork screen. and you can go to the Kivy folder and create a roadwork screen.kv, and then you can copy this. So as usual, we have float layout under the class, and then we have two grid layout. The first grid layout is going to be the grid layout for us to put the data table. The ID will be roadwork data table, and the second grid layout is going to be a row that we will put 5 label buttons: back, incidents, roadwork, traffic images, and road opening. So yeah, 23. So all the screens they are in this roadwork topic will be sharing the same button navigation bar. So you can just copy paste the entire grid layout. Okay. So later we want to refer to this roadwork data table, and then we want to put in our data table here. So what we go do next is go to the main.py, and under the change screen function, we say if the screen name is roadwork screen, we want to do something. We want to So if the screen name is roadwork screen, first we're going to change the title to roadworks, and then we want to reference to the roadwork screen.id.data table. So later we will add the data table to this grid layout. This is referring to the grid layout in the roadwork screen. So the next thing that we want to do is to send a GET request to this LTA Datamall section 2.17. That will be our source of information. So we will do it under onStart. So let's probably put it here. Okay, get the total roadworks. One way you can do it is that you can actually create a table in your myapp.db and then store all the roadwork data into your table, and then use the SQL to get the data from there. Well, the way I'm doing here now is without storing the information into the database. Instead, we just retrieve the information from the API every time the user load the page. So I would strongly suggest you to go for the first option, which is to save the data into the database and then update the database every time there is some changes from the API side. And I just want to show you here that sometimes if the information is not huge, you can actually do the query every time the user load the page. But for this case, the data is big, and I think I can leave it as a homework to you. You can try to figure out yourself how to create a table in the myapp.db and store the data in, and then use the SQL to query out the raw data. Here I'm just going to show you that you can just use the URL request. So let's define a function. Actually, there are two functions here. Make sure the indentation is correct. And so first will be our robot path, and then this one will be the skip. So just so we know that we need to skip 6,500 to get the last page of the data, and then we said that if the length of this variable is 0, later we're going to declare this variable on the top. If this variable is 0, it will be a list. If this list is empty, for I in range of 0 to 14, you will get 0, 1, 2, 3 all the way until 13th. You not get 14. We want to get the 13 because 13 times 500 will be 6,500. Okay, so if I equal to 0, our URL will be this without the skip. And then if I is not 0, then our URL will be plus the skip, then plus the amount of skip that we need. Then we are going to send the URL request to the URL, and then when it's successful, it's going to call this function. So this function is going to get all the response from our URL request, and we are going to pass all the value, all this value in the list to this variable. So this variable will be used in another file later. We are going to create a roadwork.py which will access to this information to create the data table. So yeah, this will be the variable that store all the information of all this information. So I mentioned just now, you can also instead of using URL request, you can also use SQL and a database to do so. Let's see, let's put it here. Okay, and next we're going to create a roadwork.py to create our data table. You have the data. Now you want to create a widget, and then we want to combine them together. So you create a roadwork.py, and then in the roadwork.py you can have all this code. Now I want to explain to you what is going to happen here. So later on we are going to instantiate this class at the main.py, and at the same time we are going to pass the information here, total roadworks. So we have the quads here. We can refer to the key total roadworks, and then we will get the value of the total roadworks. So you can see that this is an example of the information that you will get if you print quads total roadworks. Okay. Of course, there are a huge amount of data, and we don't want to display all of them in the data table. We just want to display the information, the start date, today and tomorrow. We don't want to look at the rest of the data. We just want those roadworks with the start date of today and tomorrow. So what we're going to happen, we're going to use the PYTZ time zone. I'm in Singapore, so I'm using Asia, Singapore. So to use this, you need to import PYTZ, and then also you need to import date time and time delta. So 1 day later, it's going to be date time.now time zone plus time delta 2. Why 2 not 1? Because later on we are going to check if the data that we get is less than this. So so let's say today is Monday, plus 2 will be Wednesday. So anything less than Wednesday will be Monday and Tuesday. So we only want the data for Monday and Tuesday. Okay. So now we get date time now plus time delta 2, and we format it, and then we change it back to a date time object. You need to make it a data object so that you can compare between time. So for roadwork, in the quads total roadworks, for each roadwork, for each of these, we are going to get we are going to check we are going to get the roadwork start date. We are going to get the start date of all these roadworks information, and then we are going to check if the 1 day later data object, which is for example this one will be a Wednesday, is more than the roadwork start date. Okay, we will check. So if yes, then we will get the information. So let's say today is 21st of December. So any roadwork that is less than 21st of December or falls on 21st of December or falls on 22nd of December, we want those data. Okay, let me repeat. Any roadwork with the start date of less than 21st of December, on 21st of December, and also on 22nd of December, we want all that roadwork information. But if the roadwork start date actually falls on 23rd or more, we don't want to skip all those information. We don't want to display them. Yeah, so I hope you get what I mean here. So if that is the case, we will append it. We will append the roadwork start date, roadwork end date, and the road name. These are the information that we want to display on our data table. So now you have this information that you need in a list. Next thing you want to do is to create an MD data table. Excuse me. So you need to import from Kivy MD data table, import MD data table. And then, yeah, this is the attribute that you can use. Size int, size of your data table, position of data table, and use pagination equal to true. So yeah, I basically want the pagination because I have so much of data. I don't want to display all of them in one single page, and therefore I set use pagination equal to true. So row num will be how many rows that you want to display on in one page. Okay. Then column data is going to be your column data, start date, end date, and road name. Okay. DP is going to be abstract unit that is based on the physical density of your screen. So if your screen have a physical density of 1, so 1 dp will be equal to 1 pixel. Okay. And we're running in a higher density screen, the number of pixels used to draw 1 dp is scale up factor appropriate to the screen dpi. So I leave the comment here so that you can read it on your own. Okay. And row data is going to be the data that we append that we created just now. And you can sort on road name. In this case, I sort on road name. And then so it will start with alphabet A all the way to Z, and then sort will be on ascending order. You can also put descending order if you want. So I also call my table to bind on this function row press. On row press equal to row self.row press. So this function is going to do something for me. For if you click on the row, it's going to call this function. And yeah, you can do whatever you want. Maybe you can you can change screen, you can do something. For here I don't do anything, I just want to print something, yeah, just for your info. Okay. So lastly, you want to add the table to the class cell.addWidget. Okay. And yeah, finally I think we want to import this class to the main.py. And the last step will be under the change screen function, its screen name is equal to roadwork screen. This is the thing that we want to add. So we will check if this data table grid layout has got any roadwork class or object. If yes, we will remove it. Okay. And then we will create a new one so that every time the user log into the screen, the data table will be a latest one. And roadwork, in this case, we are going to pass the total roadwork, which is going to be self.total roadwork response. Okay. Then we are going to add this to our roadwork screen grid layout. Okay. I think that's all for the step. You can run it. And when it's finished, go to traffic, go to roadwork, boom. Now we have our data table, and let's see. So there are like 10 rows in one page. Okay, then you can go to next page, next page, next page. Okay, so we have 4,500 data. Okay, also it's not 4,500 pages, it's 4,500 data. I think I made a mistake at the earlier of the video. So I mentioned like pages, but this one is actually the number of data that you have. Okay, so 1 to 10 data is displayed on the first page. Then you have, yeah. So if you divide by 10, you'll be 450 page. Okay, and now the next thing that you can do, if you click on the row, it's going to call this function row press, and then we want to print the instance table instance row. So now it's going to print the MD Data Table object, and also it's going to print the row object that I actually clicking. So what you can do next is probably you want to bring to a next page as the user click on this particular row, and then you can take the information, that instance, to create the next thing that you want to do. Okay, I hope today is a good tutorial for the MD Data Table, and in the next tutorial we're going to look at the how do we link to the traffic images on the road. We can link to all the CCTV, the cameras, and then we can display the images. And then when you click on these cameras, right, you're going to get a pop-up menu to show the image that belongs to that particular camera. Okay, and then this one is going to be a carousel kind of widget in which you can scroll to the left to see all the traffic images. Okay, sounds cool. If you like the video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, recommend it to your friends, and I hope you stay tuned to the channel and the series, and hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.